Welcome and thank you for always joining us in our discussions. We are looking at graphs of quadratic and cubic functions, and we are going to begin our discussion by looking at quadratic graphs or a quadratic question, a question that was done in KCSE 1995, paper 1, question number 21. First question of this says, construct a table of the values for the function y is equal to x squared minus x minus 6 for the values of x between -3 and +4. We have the given function y is equals to x squared minus x minus 6, and remember these are U-shaped graphs which turn at some point, and we know at the turning point of a curve, the dy over dx is usually equal to 0, and I'm going to start by looking at the turning point, or by getting the point at which this curve is going to turn. We know at the turning point of a curve, the dy over dx will always be equal to 0. So if we differentiate this function, we are going to get 2x minus 1 being equal to 0, meaning 2x will be equal to 1. X is going to be equal to 0.5 when you divide by 2 on both sides. Having the value of x will now give us the value of y by taking y back to the main function, by taking x back to the main function. So y is going to be equal to 0.5 squared minus 0.5 minus 6, and this one is going to give us negative 6.25. Therefore, the turning point is going to be 0.5 and negative 6.25, and it is always important that learners understand that this point is very, very important for you to score all the marks on these quadratic graphs. We now go to the table and start filling the table. Remember, the values of x range between -3 and +4, so we are going to have -3, -2, -1, 0. Before we go to 1, let us put our turning point at this point. That is 0.5 and negative 6.25. Then we go to 1, 2, 3, and lastly we have 4 here. Now we use the values of x in this function to get the values of y. When x is -3, the value of y is going to be +6. And the value of x -2, we are going to get y as 0. When x is -1, the value of y is going to be -4. And when x is 0, y will be -6. Already we have our turning point at this point. Then when x is +1, y will be -6. When it is +2, y will be -4. And when it is +3, it will be 0. And when x is +4, this one will give us +6. Once we have our table done, we can now move and start doing the plotting exercise. By looking at the highest value of x and y, x has -3 on the left and +4 to the right. And of course, y is -6 and +6. So we are going to begin. Let me assume this is our center here. Then, since the highest value of x to the left is -3, we can go with -1, -2, -3, and -4. Then, if this is 0 here, we are going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, and even 5. Because our table cannot take 1 centimeter to represent 1 unit on y-axis, let us use 2, 4, 6, 8 there. Then downwards we are going to have -2, -4, -6, and a -8 there. Having gotten our point, now we can go and start the plotting exercise. Remember, when x is -3, y is +6, this point here. When x is -2, the value of y is 0. And when x is -1, y is -4. When x is 0, y is -6 at this point here. And when x, now we go to the turning point. When x is 0.5, 0.5 is around this point here, then the value of y will be here, and this is where we are going to have our turning point. Let me try to fix it with a cross so that you'll be able to identify where our curve turns. And that when x is +1, the value of y is 6, and when x is 2, it is -4. 2 is -4. When it is 3, it is 0. And when the value of y is +4, when the value of x is +4, the value of y is +6. From there now, we join all these plotted points for us to have our curve. So we are going to have all these points drawn. Let us connect all these points this way. We go to the turning point and of course go up. This is not very smooth. Let us draw a smooth one. So once we have our graph drawn, it is always important that you name your curve, because without naming again, a student loses a mark at this point. So y is going to be equal to x² minus x minus 6. And from there now, we can move to the last part of this question, where we are supposed to draw a suitable line on the grid and use it to estimate the roots of the equation. Remember, we usually use the main function, which is y is equal to x² minus x minus 6. We subtract this function here, that is x² plus 2x minus 2 is equal to 0. When you subtract the two equations, y minus 0 will give us y being equal to x² minus x² is 0, minus x minus +2x will give us -3x. Then -6 minus -2 will give us -4. That means y is going to be equal to -3x minus 4. With that, now we make a table having the values of x and y for us to be able to draw this given line here. At this point now, we can assume the values that we already have in our graph. When x is, for example, -2, you can place the value of x here so that we can get y. The value of y is going to be +2. And if we assume the value of x is -1, then the value of y is again going to be -1. And if we assume the value of x is 0, then y is going to be -4. These 3 points are enough for us to draw this line. So when x is -2 here, the value of y is +2 at this point. And when, allow me to use the crosses, and when the value of x is -1, the value of y is also -1 at this particular point here. and when the value of x is 0, y is -4 at this point here. When the value of x is 0, so we can plot this point here. When the value of x is 0, we are going to have it here. But in this case, you realize we have two lines that are going to be joined here so that we can be able to get this particular curve intersecting with the line that we are about to draw. Now we can draw our line. Sorry, there is a mistake here. We have when the value of x is -2, here the value of y is +2, and when the value of x is -1, the other one is also -1. -1 is around this point here, and when the value of x is 0, y is +4 at this particular point. Now we can be able to join these points. We can be able to join all 3 points so that we can know. So this is how we are going to join these 3 points. We are going to join these points that we have drawn here. After joining all these points here now, we can come and again name this line that we have drawn. And this line is actually y is equal to -3x minus 4. Again, without naming that particular line there, a student may not be able to earn a mark there. From here now, we can go and solve our equation. X squared plus 2x minus 2 is equal to 0. And this is where we are going to pick the points where this curve intersects with the line. So we are going to pick this point. Let me change my ink so that we will be able to pick a point here. So we are going to move towards the x-axis and pick this particular point here. So we are going to come and pick this point here. And of course, we go to this point and pick the point down here. So from here, I think we are good to go. It is always important that you show how you picked your points from this curve. Now at this point, we will be able to state the values of x at the points where the line and the curve intersects. The first value of x is going to be at this point, which is around -2, going to be -2 point around 7, 5, and the value of x at this particular point is going to be, at this point we are going to have the value of x as 0 point. Thank you for watching and welcome to our discussions. And in case you are watching this channel for the first time, please take a second or two, click the subscribe button so that anytime we publish a video like this, you will automatically be given a notification. And to our supporters and subscribers, we really appreciate, because without you supporting us, we will not be producing content. Thank you and welcome.